Brakati Hawa, Brakati Awashai, Brakati Hawa, Brakati Awashai, Brakati Hawa, Brakati Awashai, Brakati Hawa, Brakati Hawa, Bashim Awashai, Bashim Chakutash. That belongs to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone True Well. Salutations to the hopefully elect out there, you Akim to Sadakim that do this thing in most truth and sincerity. On the pre-Shaman, this week's topic is going to be entitled Elon Musk Successful Neuralink Human Brain Chip Implant. Elon Musk Neuralink Successful Brain Chip Implant. And the title is pretty much what we're going to be talking about, you know, recent events where Elon Musk successfully did his whole Neuralink brain chip implant. Now, they've implanted chips in people's brains before, paraplegics that aren't able to move certain extremities. They implant these chips in their brains, and now they're able to move it. Okay, some of the things that Esau is doing is likened unto spiritual power, because you know the scriptures tell you he tried to make himself like the Most High, and pretty much want to make himself like the angels. But wherein we would just pray to the Most High to have these things done on a spiritual level, Esau, he's more carnal with it, you know. This is the book of Revelation 16 and 14. For they are the spirits of devils working miracles. So this thing that we're discussing, it's a miracle, really. Like, you know, the idea that somebody can have the ability to walk again if you put a chip in their mind, but it's going to go a step further, as I'm going to elaborate, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and the whole world to gather them to the battle. It says, of that great day of the Most High Almighty. So why is what Elon is doing much greater? And why is that? How does that correlate to what I said when this man is trying to be more like the Most High and the angels, right? Well, the angels, one characteristic about the angel is, and the angelic host is, they neither labor nor toil. That's in the book of Sirach, the 16th chapter and the 24th verse on down. Meaning, when you read about creation, let there be light, and let there be this, it was all done via telepathically, with the mind, if you will. And that's the transition Esau is trying to replicate, but on the left-hand side, or scientific side, if you will. Because he studies everything, studies atoms, studies molecules, and he knows, and this is like not secret information, that every thought process triggers some sort of electricity in the brain, right? Some sort of, if you tell your hand to move, there's electricity starts in the brain, goes throughout the nervous system, and create these different courses of actions. Now Esau is saying, well, we know there's a disconnect between the electromagnetic frequency from the brain to the arm telling it to move. We could recreate that, but can we take it a step further? Can we now take your thought in the form of electricity, have an advanced microchip, be able to tell what that electrical thought is, and transition it in the real world in something as simple as turning on your car with your mind, right? Because if I know Tesla and Neuralink is separate companies, but Elon is in the midst of both of them, and that's what they're trying to do, synchronize things like that, they try to push this chip in the guise of convenience, and it would make life more convenient, right? But that's to your detriment if you take it. And how would it make life more convenient? This brain, scientifically advanced enough to link your thoughts to turn on your vehicle, locking your car, opening up your door, right? Walking out of a convenience store, buying and selling. Oh, you don't need your wallet. Your wallet was in your brain, you know, or your hand, as we're going to read. Verse 15 says, behold, now this is in red letters, Revelation 16 and 15, it says, behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked, and they see his shame. So this right here is prevalent times, you know, and it's amazing to me how someone could say that this is not the RFID microchip is not the mark of the beast, when Esau is doing that. He's using it to put it in your right hand and in your forehead, like this guy just did. Now, we always mention that Hollywood pushes out a lot of this stuff. You know, Hollywood pushes out a lot of this stuff. Let's take the movie Total Recall that came out in the 80s. And then they did a remake, all right? They did a remake in the early 2000s with Colin Farrell. So the original one with Arnold Schwarzenegger, all right? Which that whole thing was about implanting memories in people's minds, all right? They had a tracking device that was lodged into his brain. That's the original in the 80s, right? And they plopped it out. They did a remake, and instead of putting the tracking device in his brain, guess what? They put it in his right hand. So that's very telling, all right? That's spiritual, man. Revelations 3:18. You have to have that spiritual eyesight when you're seeing these things that Hollywood push out to say what's the real meaning behind this. And they're pushing this chip, man. I'm going to run through Revelations, the 16th chapter for the sake of time, and then speak on it. It says, and he calls it all, Revelations 13 and 16, and he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor. So whatever you're at in society, whatever status you have in society, this mark will be forced upon you, rich or poor. It says, small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, whether you're in prison or out of it, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And that's what we see with the Neuralink being put in the head. And then when it says right hand, left hand, it doesn't matter. Any body part, you want to jab it in the knee, the legs, if you get that chip into you, we're going to read the punishment for it. And we know it's talking about the chip because the Greek word there for mark is charagma, which goes back to the Greek word charax, which is a pale incision, a pale, a stake, a palisades, or a trench. You know, when the Lord says, you know, something to the enemy of a trench, the word there for trench is charax. Okay, so that's those sharp stakes, and that's what this RFID microchip looks like. Okay, small grain of rice that could contain gigabytes of information. It says, and that no man might buy nor sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name, right? And that's it's going to tie in with digital transactions. The UPC barcode, those two long lines, one in the beginning, one in the middle, and one at the end, are numerically 666. So this is going into buying transactions and pretty much tying your whole life, because that's what everything is about, right? Like how you have the Apple ecosystem. Everything's an ecosystem. Your earphone is tied to this, your car is tied to that. Everything is tied to one another. And that's what this chip technology is going to do. It's going to tie everything and link it to your chip, your bank accounts, everything, to where you can't even go through daily life unless you have this. And eventually, they're just going to tell you what it is and force it upon you. And then you're going to be given the choice. And most people, to continue with their lives, are going to take it. We, Lord willing, the Most High put the Spirit on us to stand firm and stiffly. All right, we're going to be pilgrims because we're not going to take that. And guess what? We're not going to be the only ones. All right, you have a lot of people in the world that's going to resist this. Bible Belt Christians, all right? A lot of people are going to, that's why it's going to come at one point where it's going to be forced. Very similar to what they did in 2019 with the jabby jab. It's very similar. You have people resisting and eventually they forced it. And if you had a problem not taking it, guess what? You can't work. So we got a blueprint of what's to come. It says, here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Chi, psi, stigma. Okay, stigma is something that sticks in you. All right. If a girl is promiscuous, there's a stigma about it, about being a hoe. So that thing is gonna go around with you wherever the fuck you go. All right. And guess what? You can't take it and then repent or anything. Once you take it, you pretty much bow the knees and that's it. And there's a penalty for that. See, a lot of these guys that say that the mark of the beast is spiritual and this, that, and the third, and why they don't get into the punishment of receiving the mark. Revelations 14:9, it says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image and receive his mark in his forehead, so that Neuralink shit. You got a lot of these Tesla freaks, man. A lot of these Elon Musk just infatuated with this guy, they're gonna be lining up in droves to take it. It says forehead or his hand, so that there just it doesn't have right or left, just in his hand. The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels. So there is a punishment. Okay, there's going to be a punishment if you take that mark in your right hand or in your forehead, man. Okay, so they're going to continue to work miracles, man, with this thing that they're pushing out. It's gradualism. It's gradualism. All right, this is 2024, and you know how technology scales. Technology scales pretty fucking fast. You know what could be done this year, a year from now, could be damn near 10 or 20 times more advanced. That's how quickly technology scales. And Daniel 4:12 tells us that knowledge shall increase. So they're gonna come up with new ways to do this thing, so that's the time we're in, and this is great for prophecy, So with that, I'm gonna give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem Rakak Wadash, that belongs to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone True Well. Salutations to the hopeful elect out there, you Akim Tazadakim, that do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. Shalom.